Alright, here we are at Big Bone Lick State Park. Decided to come out here for a little Christmas Eve morning hike. Probably going to do about a couple miles, 2 miles, maybe 3, depending on time of the day and stuff. Still got things to do later in the day, so kind of crunched on time, but figured come out here, check it out, and get a little morning workout going. We're down here at the Visitor Center at the park, over by where you would view the bison at. So maybe we'll see some bison today. But for now, we're gonna head up a 100-foot climb to the top and start our hike around 2 miles. We'll eventually pop out there. Let's check it out. Well, that was a climb. 100 feet. Made it to an intersection where the trail goes in either way. Cedar Run Trail heads that way, which you could take that and you'll come to a side trail that shoots off to the right and it goes down toward the bison viewing area. Or you can go this direction toward the campground. We're not going to the campground because that's just heading toward the lake, and right now the lake is closed because of a leak in the dam. And so yeah, we're not gonna go to the campground, but we are gonna head that way. We'll eventually come to another intersection where the campground shoots off to the left, and we'll go right and make our way, loop around to that side trail from this direction and head down to the bison. So I think this would be a good time to shed this puffy jacket off. Let's see. What's this say? It's 51 degrees. So, jacket might be a little bit of overkill. As a matter of fact, this whole outfit might be a little bit of overkill, but it's in preparation for a hiking trip I have next month where it's going to be a little bit more winter. So, at least wanting to get used to having those layers. And right now I'm going to take this jacket off and switch out to a hoodie, because that climb first thing in the morning, whoo, that's a workout. All right, well, let's get to it. Much better. One thing I forgot to mention is I knew it was going to be this warm, and I wanted to bring that because I wanted to get used to having that extra layer to switch out so I don't get overheated. So that's why I purposely brought this winter coat with me. So I switched out for this hoodie instead. I'm not anticipating it to be like this when I'm on my trip next month. I'm actually hoping it's going to be a little bit colder. So we'll see. Now it is going to be down south. I won't get into the logistics just yet. But if you follow along the channel, then you'll be in for a surprise next month. For now, let's get this puffy coat packed up. Let's get on the trail. Let's actually give you a good idea of what we're doing today. We're at Big Bone Lick State Historic Site. This little area right here is where we parked at. So we just came up this hill. Right now, we're at this intersection where we can veer off. So, the Cedar Run Trail right here, it's not on the All Trails map. So, the direction that we are going to be heading is what's on here. So, we're basically just following this red line all the way around. And around this area is where it comes down and it meets up. This is the bison, all right here. So, we'll eventually make our way around and get to the bison area. So for now, layers are changed. Got some water Pack is probably heavier now that I switched out this hoodie for, or wait, no, did I say that wrong? Sorry, it's early in the morning. Switched out my puffy winter jacket for this hoodie. So pack is probably heavier now, which is fine. Like I said, I got that trip next month, and a lot of this is just about the experience. And honestly, this is the best way to get experience. It's just by going out here and just doing it. So this is what we're doing. We're getting experience for bigger and better trips. So hit the trail. Alright. Campground is that way. You can actually, I don't know if you can quite make it out, but you can sort of see. It's not going to show up on camera. It's kind of a outline of a building with the light on it off in the distance. So campground is right there. If you ever come out here, we're gonna head down this direction, this hill. You know, for this trip, I had two intentions of coming out here. One was everybody's got their traditions of what they do, especially around the holiday times. And you know, being a husband and a father, these times of coming out here, you know, few and far between, but I wouldn't change that for anything. I love my family. They are always number one to me, forever and always. So, that being said, you find time for these types of things as I look at this giant hill in front of me going up. So I figured, you know, why not make this a tradition? Early morning Christmas Eve hike. Every year, just come out, hike every Christmas Eve morning. So I think I might do that on this channel. Starting with this year. This will be the first one. And here we are at Big Bone Park. And two, I was wanting to test out the gear that I had gotten for winter. That puffy jacket that I had, along with these pants and these boots, these Rockmark brand boots, these Artix winter pants. So I was wanting to check and test those out as I'm out here navigating through the woods. But of course, I never anticipated the weather being that this time of year. 53 degrees on Christmas Eve. Now, of course, next week is supposed to get down to the 30s, as the low being in the 20s, so go figure. But, like I said earlier, it's about the experience coming out here. Right now, we're following the boundary. This fence right here will be the boundary for the park on the edge. So all that over there in that field, it's all private property on that field. Say field one more time. Looks like I see a, kind of looks like a hunter's blind up there. I have seen so far this trip, of course, never quick enough to pull out the camera. I've seen 3 deer the first 100-foot climb. I've seen squirrels. So who knows what else we'll see out here. Deer are smart. They know where they can get killed at and where they can't get killed at, and they know parks are a place where you're typically not going to get shot at by hunters. So chances of seeing deer out here more, pretty high, higher than usual given any other point of the year, I feel like. So we just made our way down the hill and across this dry stream, creek bed. It's got a little water flow down there. Make our way back up to the top. And that is all uphill. So I'm making our way up the hill. So speaking of the gear that I had just mentioned, my boots, my pants, my jacket, I don't think I mentioned my jacket at all. I think the brand is something of like Gemyse, something to that effect. I'll put it on the screen. That is a winter coat, puffy winter coat really. I wear that every day. Part of my job at work is I stand outside for like 30 minutes at a time. So I'm outside a lot every day. So that jacket, I wear it every day now and it keeps me warm. And so far I've taken it down to the, I want to say 20s. And it's just by standing there, not moving, I'm just standing there. And that jacket's kept me warm. Granted, I have a hoodie on underneath. Just like right now, I have a hoodie with a long sleeve on. So if I really wanted to, if I get too warmed up to being in the low 50s, I can take this hoodie off and still be okay. Now right now, sorry, I'm out of breath, man. Not really out of breath, but that hill's a workout. And the pants I have on, that's the only layer I have. And those, I know for a fact, just by the tag, these pants, these Artix, are rated between 35 degrees down to -20 Fahrenheit. So as of right now, it being in the low 50s, yeah, everything I have on is overkill. But you know what? I've never had a backpack on and went hiking with this stuff before either. Again, back to the experience. Just trying to gain that so I know what to do, what not to do. Now I've been backpacking for many years. I've never really done a winter trip before. When it comes to being in the 20s and possible snow and freezing rain and whatnot. So I've decided I'm getting older. I want to have that experience. So here we are. As we make our way to the top of the hill, looks like we're following the ridge line to go around. Man, it is beautiful out here. I think it's only around 9 o'clock in the morning, so I've been at it for about an hour. But man, it is just awesome to be back out in the wilderness. The backpack on my back, hiking stick in my hand, and nothing but forward momentum in front of me. Wow. Wonder if that's from deer rubbing their antlers against this bark. You can see that, like little puncture wounds from what would be antlers, or you know what? What if it's a bear? Hey, that'd be a first for me, that's for sure. Bears are not, it's very uncommon for this area. Very, I mean rare. But they have been spotted before. Yeah, it's a nice little bridge. Goes over stream crossing. Yeah, we are almost to the bison area. The trail has actually been fairly moderate. Hasn't been too bad other than that initial climb right out the gate, but it's been fairly moderate. Like I said, had that one down and up, and then it was flat for a while and went down, and since then it's been gradual. I know we're just gonna keep going down. It's all downhill until the bison area, maybe a few bumps up, but making good time. Might not get your typical green forested area, but the way you look at it, it's still beautiful. We made it to the intersection where we'll go down and see the bison. Came from that way. We're heading that way. If you wanted to, you can keep going up that towards this direction, and it will take you back up to that first junction where we split off to the left and made our loop around. You could go that way and get back to there and then back down the hill toward the parking lot, but as of right now we're gonna go check out the bison. Well, this is the Bison Field. They are way over there. Let's see if I can zoom in. You can see the very tops of them. Well, there they are. About as close as we're going to get on this trip. But hey, more of a reason to come back out here, right? Now, they keep the bison here at Big Bone because this is where, when settlers first came to the area, they were everywhere. And that's how the great buffalo migration trace, they got pushed out west. That's where they are. Mainly at Yellowstone and stuff, but here's a little patch of them here at Big Bone. Now, like I said, when the settlers first came to the area, when they mapped it, and you can look it up for yourself if you don't know the history of Big Bone, it's actually kind of fascinating. But when they mapped it, this area, they put on the map as the land of the big bones. Because when they came here, there was just bones sticking out of the ground everywhere. Dinosaur bones even, like, you know, not like dinosaur like T-Rex or nothing, but giant mammoths and giant ground sloths and stuff like that, and the bison too. And there's evidence of bison still, obviously. We're here at Big Bone Lick State Park. But yeah, a little piece of history, in case you didn't know. Now we're back at the junction, and if we go this way, it'll lead us back to the parking lot where we made that left-hand turn to go up the hill. But we're gonna go this direction. Alright, well, if you head up that direction, that would be where the parking lot is at and where my car is. Now that's not my truck, obviously, that one there when we got here. Mine is a black one, black SUV. You can't see it from here, but that right there is the parking lot, so you can head back up that way and be done. It is 10 o'clock on the dot, so we have been at it for about 2 hours. Did about 2 miles. Which is not bad timing, about 1 mile an hour. Now that's given the fact that I took a stop or two and all that fancy camera work. So, not bad. Pretty moderate, pretty easy. Definitely do it again. Done it, I don't know how many times before anyway. So, but for now, we're actually gonna head this direction and head down by Big Bone Creek and make our way up behind the visitor center area. Check it out. If you ever come down this direction, it's park residents, no trespassing. So, please be mindful, and please be respectful when you come out here. Oh, let's see what the sign says. Ah, see? The Bison Trace, yep. Piece of history right there. Big Bone Lick, that's where we are. That's the way the bison went when they were forced west from this area. There's actually a clover that's called buffalo clover, I believe, and it's mainly found along the trace of the buffalo when they were forced out west. So I find that kind of fascinating. It's also found in this area. I'm not too familiar with it. Obviously it's a clover, but you have to look up the exact, what'd you call it, species, genus, I guess, of it. Yeah, pretty cool. Now both these directions do go back to the visitor center, this one being the quickest way. So we're not going to do that. We're going to keep this trip going. We're going to head this direction. If you don't know the history on this lady, you should definitely look it up. That is interesting. She was captured by Indians. She lived in West Virginia and she was taken all the way up this direction. She escaped and made her way back home. Crazy life. Trail goes that way. This is an offshoot to a salt spring. Well, there you go. That, I guess you would call a salt spring. And if you can smell the smell that I can smell right now, oh my gosh, it's that sulfur. If you ever know what sulfur smells like, it's pretty much what it is. Golly, it stinks too. Well, in case you're interested in the history of the salt of the area, I used to mine salt from the salt springs back in the early 1800s, and people used to come down here and get into what's called, was it a bathhouse basically of salt in the natural hot spring. It was good for the skin. This was the early 1800s, after the area started to get more settled. Here's an original map. Big Bone. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Well, we are back at our last intersection. That direction would have been the way we would have came back from. We came out of the creek before we took the long way this direction. So, yeah. We're back behind the visitor center. My car is right up that way. Pretty much wraps it up. Thanks for joining me on this first year tradition of early Christmas Eve hike. I'll just call it that for now. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Big Bone Lake State Historic Site. It's awesome. Love it out here. It's beautiful. So that's about it. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm Travis from Travis Backpacks. See you in the next one.